I come home and Mike is sitting on the floor with his bass and his eyes are this big around. And he's totally on LSD.
Was he?
He was on acid.
Oh.
And so, and then he was like, listen to this. Listen to this. That's basically, and then I don't know. I said, well, I hope you can remember it.
So you had the bass line.
Yeah. And then the lyrics came, and
because there's that interlude at the end too of Longview. That there's that sort of jazzy part of Longview.
It's that swing thing.
Yeah. That's not punk.
Swinging?
I'm joking. No, I'm joking. I mean, but it's like it's not the Ramones. It's like it's an interlude. It's like, let's try something here.
Yeah. I mean, we're always up for experimenting or whatever. I mean, I think one of the problems that I've always seen with punk rock on not that not to overgeneralize or anything like that, is that sometimes it can be a bit self-defeatist a little bit, where it does suddenly you're not supposed to play anything else but that. But for me, it's like I hear bands like a guy like No Means No, or London Calling, or a band like Operation Ivy, who's mixing hardcore and ska music at the same time. I mean, that's how, for me, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to do something that takes it a step further. Plus, I'm a huge Beatles fan too, and the Who. So.
I mean, it often seemed like punk rock was about excluding things, not anything but fast, loud, 3 chords, short. And Green Day didn't do that even from the beginning. I mean, you were always fooling around in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes down, we always want to write good songs that we felt like were timeless, and in a way where it's, all of our favorite songs that kind of carry, hold their weight even now. If you think about a song like Satisfaction by the Stones, it's like that song is totally relevant, and no matter which era that you're in or what generation that you're in, that song, that's the, God, every kid says that, So it's, I don't know, so that's kind of what we were thinking, just try to write really good songs that, that we could play 10 years after the fact,
Yeah. If you'd written a song that says, I'm 16, you can't really play that for in a couple of years.
Nope.
Probably Alice Cooper's still playing 18 now, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's still Alice Cooper, though. It's great.
Tell me about, I mean, it all, for most bands, it's like that first step is the hardest, like getting the record deal, getting in the studio, doing that first album. Was that a huge step for you guys, or were you doing it yourself?
Yeah, I found that the hardest thing I remember about any of it was getting a gig. Is the hardest thing for a band to do, or just get equipment, something, but getting a gig is just, there's a lot of bands out there, so you're just sitting here just trying, praying that one day you could get something, and then it's like as soon as you get that, and you start developing a relationship with different people that are put on shows, whether just begging your friend, just put on a party and we'll play, we'll play in the garage, we'll play in the backyard, So I mean that was the most difficult thing, and then and then everything, we ended up with Lookout Records, which I mean, they were putting out great stuff at the time, and then I don't know. And then after that, are you talking about like major label stuff, or like
no, what was the real hurdle? I mean, actually, what was that first gig?
The first gig that Green Day ever played?
Yeah, I mean, if that was the big hurdle.
We ended up with this guy that was our drummer for a while. This guy, his name was John Kiffmeyer, and
so there's another drummer too.
Yeah, he was right. He was before Trey, but nothing was ever set in stone that he was going to be our full-time drummer. So even the time when he was in the band. So, but he ended up getting us gigs. Like we ended up playing out at in Davis, California, with a band called Nasal Sex. And a band called Crimshrine, and oh God, who else? Oh, Sewer Trout. So yeah, so we played out there, and then this guy, he was in a band before that called Isocracy, who was sort of the Gilman Street house band at the time. So they ended up, they broke up, and then those other guys ended up forming a band called Sam I Am, and then we ended up. Just he ended up getting us a lot of, he already knew all the people, so it was like, oh, let's just get this guy in the band. He knows where to get shows.
Was there a point when people started coming to your shows and knowing the songs?
Yeah, I mean, we recorded a demo at Gilman, and then we ended up we would just give them to all of our friends because there was a lot of. My high school, there was actually a lot of punk rock bands that were at that school, so we ended up just trading tapes all the time. So, and then they would trade that, and it was like we would just, I guess it was illegal downloading at the time. So, so I don't know. We just ended up, passing out the tape to whoever would wanted it, and then those people, it just kind of became word of mouth, and then people would come, and then I don't know. Then we ended up meeting Lawrence Livermore from Lookout Records.
Oh,
yeah. Which Trey booked a show. He was in a band with Larry before he was in Green Day, and he booked this show on a mountaintop in Mendocino County, which was the girl didn't show up. The house had no roof, and there was no electricity. So, and it was the middle of the winter, and so there was a generator. And we were playing, and Larry happened to be up there. This is our performance for Lookout Records, So he ended up, we had that gig, and so Larry, it's funny. He's like someone in the middle of one of our songs or in the middle of our sets. Hey, can you move your van? I got to get my car out of here. We're leaving, and then we're like, no, you're going to stay there, and you're going to wait, And so then, and then I don't know. And then Larry really liked it, so we ended up putting our first 7-inch out.
So it sort of eased into it. Mm-hmm. And then by the time Reprise came around, people knew who you were.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. Well, it was a weird thing because we were I don't know. It was weird. We were known on in the underground circuit. But it was very a tight-lipped circuit. I mean, there was not people really outside of that didn't really know that much. So I mean, we went and we played, we didn't even actually play New York City until right before Dookie came out. We played with Bad Religion. So we ended up we would end up playing in Connecticut or play at someone's house all the time. So.
Well, what was a big gig for you guys back in the Lookout days? 200 people.
Yeah, it's 200, 300 people. We ended up playing at a place called the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma, California, where we ended up, drawing about 1,200 people. But yeah,
that's pretty serious for a baby band.
Yeah, I think the biggest show we ended up playing, which we were, it was right before Dookie came out. There was a show at the Hollywood Palladium, and we did 2 nights with Bad Religion. And that was the first time I ever played in front of it was like 3,500 people. So that was frightening. I mean, that was a scary crowd. I mean, it was those LA shows were.
Yeah, people were like moshing, headbutting.
Yeah, they're gang member types and things like that too. So it's LA, So
Not paradisiacal Northern California.
No, nothing like Oakland. Luscious Oakland, California.
The Welcome to Paradise was on Kerplunk, right? Mm-hmm. Did Reprise know what it was when they signed